Minehead, Day 81. 2,300 hours. 60 stealth-skinned soldiers moved up the walls. The engineers punching in secure points as they went, only useful if they could win to the surface. Hinckley was sweating despite her suit's best efforts. She hated heights. She hated anything that forced her to hang above the void. So far, the stealth gear seemed to be working, and that was really the only important thing. Her HUD said the first men would hit the surface in 10 minutes. They could be dead in 11 if the Sijec were waiting. They were. Sijec ground command. Sire, some humans have climbed up from the mine. We are engaging. Probably a few survivors. Send the guard packs to reinforce. Keep an eye on the situation. I'm waiting to hear from the fleet. I'm going to blast that death pit from orbit, and I don't want the troops nearby. The battle fleet aren't known for their accuracy. Just contain it. Hinckley swore as she watched the life signs blink out as the men reached the top. All squads, assemble below the breach. Keep your fucking heads down. I don't need any more heroic corpses. I need fucking soldiers. Now get your shit together. On me, ASAP. She then promptly ignored her own orders and climbed over the top. She released her drone, trying to find the enemy line. She didn't need to wait, since the Sijec then immediately shot her in the face. Her head was still ringing as she dropped back. Son of a bitch, that hurts! Her helmet had taken most of the damage, but her HUD was fucked. She waited on the north face of the breach, just below the surface. The wall had broken enough to form a useful ledge. At least she didn't have to look down and could rest her back. Her face was stinging like a bastard. Fuck climbing. People did this for fun? It took nearly 40 minutes to assemble the men. She had ordered them to rest. Time was ticking away. This was a one-shot deal. Either they made it and lived, or everyone was dead. As above, so below. She remembered that phrase from some bitch selling magic oils or something. If they didn't hold the surface, if she failed, nukes were going to fall and everyone below died. Sergeant Elysium would haunt her ghost if his patients were hurt. All right, lads, we know they can see us. We know what happens if we fail. The plan is simple. We move as one, punch north, killing anything that tries to stop us. Then we capture their heavy weapons, reform and attack their positions from the other side. I'm sending you the best plan I can create since they leveled the place. I'll put up more drones as soon as we are clear. Fix bayonets, people, and be ready to use them. The Sijec troops guarding the mine were spending a lot of time looking at the sky. Knowing that the battle fleet was going to bomb the place had created a certain unhappiness. The couple of humans that had crawled out had been swiftly dealt with. Some of the lower-level packs had vanished into the distance, looking for prey on a planet they had spent weeks blowing up. Still, technically allowed. Bastards. Hinckley and her men erupted over the ledge, running as only humans would, straight into heavy fire. Stumbling over broken ground and leaping craters as they went, they advanced. The Sijec on the north were stretched. Aside from one or two humans earlier, they were more preoccupied with the battle fleet. They focused quickly when the sentries died. This raging wave of attackers were nearly invisible, save for the glow of the weapons. The Sijec hadn't used bayonets for at least the last 1,000 years. They didn't have a shotgun setting either. It wasn't yet a massacre. Human bodies littered the field. When the raging shadows that were the human troops hit the Sijec line, blades at the ready, then it became a massacre. Hinckley stabbed down, slicing some poor bastard right through the gut. Get those guns pointed at those bastards south. Pick up the heavy plasma. Fuck the rest. Move. Her squads moved through the Sijec line, a cloud of desperate men defending the new hope they held, that they guarded for their comrades still in the mine. The Sijec fought on, outflanked and facing weapons and tactics not seen since the Blood Wars, but they died, and they died hard. ERF began firing into the Sijec battle fleet. The humans turned and twisted their way through space. Each captain had chosen a target and a route, and given the stakes, they weren't about to lose. The problem is how fucking big space is. You can't surprise anyone, so the humans didn't bother. They began a mad dance designed to minimize contact with the claw ships. The claw ships tried. Powerful guns were turned on mankind. Brave pilots engaged, inflicting glorious damage and sacred death. Still they came. Unwilling to die, the humans corkscrewed through space, refusing death until cornered. Then the Sijec learned why cornering humans was a bad idea. They came back screaming and murderous, dismissing death as unimportant, dying only at the highest cost. The claw ships didn't understand the doctrine or the tactics. This was not how hunted prey should behave. They behaved like a mother defending cubs, not warriors in battle. The admiral watched as the battle progressed. Other than initial orders, there was nothing more he could do. He would fight his own ship and pray the others did the same. Launch the fighters. Then the capital ships started to fall. Unseen missiles slammed into the slow-moving battle fleet capital ships and shattered their command and control. The instinct to protect the failing capital ships brought the claws in close, where they suffered the same fate. The explosions lit up space. The Sijec watched as their best, the finest weapons the galaxy had ever seen began to fall to the humans. Emboldened observers began to believe that Pax Humanitas was real. Plans began to be laid. To be rid of these pack hunters was a blessing long awaited, and here was a species willing and able to engage and defeat them. Now every human was a superhero, every ship a battleship. It annoyed the fuck out of humans just out for a walk or trying to park a cargo ship. It took 15 hours before the Sijec fleet was completely destroyed. The ERF had lost 30% of their forces. The admiral looked at the maps. If they had fought properly, we would have had our asses kicked. Look at the numbers. A lesson for us all. Also, as we have been told since Eve stole an apple, never reinforce failure. Congratulations to all. Move to the planet as soon as you recover your pilots. This isn't over. Hinckley regrouped her men. They had taken half the line. One more push and the surface was secure. A swift head count gave her 40 men ready and able. She tried to crush her emotions when a third of her men didn't respond. Check the dead, we need the big guns. We move west, keep your bayonets on. Remember, we need to push them out or everyone dies. Finally, her men had some decent heavy weapons. They poured on suppression fire, chewing up the ground as her men moved up. The last Sijec abandoned their posts under the assault. They had seen blades rip into the pack, shadows attacking from all directions, their own positions turned against them. These humans were a curse. They broke and ran for cover. Let the battle fleet deal with them. The fighting continued, now reduced to sniper fire. The Sijec weren't cowards, just demoralized and lacking any kind of leadership. The Fighting Irish were brought to the surface under fire, but still they made the surface. Sergeant Elysium was the last up. Captain Hinckley was sitting on the edge, swinging her feet over the breach, waiting for him. The sergeant saw the blood and battle damage. Hinckley looked like death was having a quiet sit-down. Christ. I see you made us all at home. Death, fire, and injured. Where am I working? Hinckley pointed. Over there, quick as you can, Sergeant. Might I add that I need a little treatment myself? Of course, Captain. Did you stub your toe on the way up? Hinckley pulled off her helmet. Her face was completely burned by the plasma bolt she had caught on the way off the cliff. The burns had bitten deep. It would take months to repair, if it could be repaired at all. Sergeant Elysium kept his voice steady. Of course, Captain, I'm sure I have a cream for that. When intel finally reached the Sijec ships in orbit about the loss of the battle fleet, those sent to screen the planet began to land and recover the troops that had survived and fled before the humans arrived. She watched through the drones as the Sijec left. Get the men moving. I found us a nice house with a view. Hopefully they left the kitchen behind. Since Hinckley wasn't looking for another battle, she watched them leave, then she stole their barracks. The Sijec ate the same miserable rations that were issued to every army in the galaxy. Food of the gods after dwarf bread. Sergeant, I'm going to sleep. Call me up if God herself or an admiral turns up, otherwise deal with it. The Marine commander landed, his men rushing to cover him as he left the ship. A single trooper approached. Name and rank? The commander nearly bit his tongue. What? Sorry, sir, I can't let you pass until I have name and rank. Captain's orders. The commander lowered his voice in sympathy with an idiot. You don't have a captain. I'm the Marine commander. Your commander. I'd know, the trooper made a call. Tell the Sarge, he's been waiting for this. No, let her sleep. Sergeant Elysium appeared from nowhere. Evening, Commander. I'm here to stop you fucking up. Suddenly, the largest man he had ever seen was in front of him. The commander's guards started to raise their guns. He waved them down. He saw the stripes and the medical armband. Explain yourself, Sergeant. Hinckley is our captain, and we don't need you to rescue us. Did you notice how no one was trying to kill you on your way in? We killed them, or they ran away. This little shit show of yours, that's how it works, right? When we were broken and hiding in the dark, we needed you. 6 weeks ago? Great. Now? After we killed them all? The general attitude is go fuck yourself. The Marine commander made to interrupt. I'm sorry, what? The sergeant wasn't going to stop. Weeks of dead and wounded had brought his patience to an end. So don't tell us we don't have a captain, and don't think turning up for the after-party means anything to us. You can help us bury the dead and shut the fuck up, and when you meet her, you will respect her rank. Is that clear, sir? EDF, orbiting former Homner mine. Earth was unhappy. Instead of rescuing the deeply grateful survivors of the Sijec attack, they were met with a sullen, victorious troop of Marines. Some self-appointed captain was dictating the terms of the engagement. She had contacted the media herself and told the galaxy that the glorious rescue was too little, too late. How her men had saved themselves after months of isolation. How Earth had forgotten them. She was loved by the world and backed by a fiercely loyal bunch of men. Corporal Hinckley needed to be sent quietly out of the way. The Admiral was standing as she arrived. The best of humanity and the worst of heroes. This was a eulogy, as he buried her career while praising her actions. I can now confirm the commission given to you in combat. You are granted the rank of captain. In recognition of your heroic efforts, you are charged with the formation and command of the 81st Irish. This will consist of those that you brought back to us from death. He stood back and saluted as the badges of rank and the medals for valor were pinned on. It took a while. He made a note that 81st would be on the cutting edge of the attack on the Sijec homeworld.